Well, hello there.
Hello. Hello there, guys. This is the weekly podcast for the EPP game, for the
Hi.
Weekday game. And today we have a very special guest in purple, the player of Bengal. Hi. And we are going a bit into depth with Bengal this time, because a lot of people wanted like guests and some more in-depth infos about other regions of the game. So purple is one of the best
Yep.
options for being a guest. So I guess we will start with Bengal this time. What do we see? Some
Oh,
really nice expansion.
I already had Orissa and the Hill Tribes, most of them. The actual expansion was done around Arakan and Jaunpur, and a bit around the Meghalaya Wasteland, that region. With, of course, yeah, a bit. And, yeah, very close.
Really close to being a great
As soon as they annex Assam, they will become a great power.
When you're in a war with Assam. Yep.
I think it's fine. I got mountain defenses if anything goes wrong. I was hoping to vassalize Tsang and reconquest all of you, but it's not a big deal. Also, I was distracted by the Delhi invasion of the Timurids. I did defend Delhi. We were able to get 250 war square and stab hit the Timurids out. He started the war without Tech 6, so that gave us... Oh, I had Tech 6 before him, so that gave us a little window before he got it to where we were able to do some stuff. Yes, as I said, we won and we were able to stab hit him for a few provinces. In fact, we were able to stab hit him for the 3 Afghan provinces that Delhi owns. The 3 main provinces that Delhi used to own. After the war, Delhi went bankrupt and he didn't do his rebel management properly, so that's why there's a Punjab in Afghanistan. Yeah, very unfortunate.
Oh, that's really
Yes,
unlucky.
yes.
I'm
I'm not entirely convinced that defending Delhi was the right move, since that just meant Bahmani swooping in after Delhi died. But if Delhi were able to defend successfully and not actually break apart like he did, then I think it would have been fine. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think if Delhi would have been able to form Punjab later on,
Yeah.
which is a pretty free formation, like you sacrifice only some prestige.
Yeah, but now Bahmanis is probably the strongest nation in the region.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Jarvan played Bahmanis for the first session. This session Bahmanis was taken over by a Kradiax, the former Malacca player. Yes.
Okay.
Yep, Bahmanis is richer than Bengal, and Bengal is supposed to be rich. Yep. This session, like the first session, Bahmanis had a very long Regency Council, so this session they more than made up for it by acquiring a lot of vassals, eating some of Delhi. He made sure to grab Delhi so that the Timurids wouldn't be able to get to it and form Mughals as well. Yeah.
You know, this is a pretty smart idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like his only bad thing right now is he swapped to Hindu already, as I can see. Yeah. His only like bad part about the nation is that the nation has not so good ideas compared to other nations.
Yes.
I think like you have army tradition, calf combat. It's like pretty good for an Earl.
Yes, and I suspect that he will try to form Rajputana.
As you go on, it gets worse and worse.
Yeah, simply because it's easier and faster than Deccan.
Which is
and
probably his best shots.
You can swap back later.
You can't go Decan anyways because you swapped to him.
There is several ways to swap back. One is via an event. In fact, Bengal had that event, and I was able to do that and farm a tiny bit more mana. So that was nice. Yes, Bahmanis can get the event, I'm pretty sure. The other way to do it is to manually convert to Sikh and then from Sikh to Hindu. Sorry, from Sikh to Sunni, and then just have rebels spread back to Hindu if you want. Yes, I used that to go Hindu as Benin once. That was a very meme game. But yes, Bahmanis has really good income, probably gonna form Rajputana, as he said, for equally good army. Currently over relations, but fairly easy fix there.
Yeah. Yeah, like the big thing for him is that he already has probably like the best reform set in the game, considering he has the Nyankara system, which is 15% manpower. Then he has the Death Cost and Infantry Combat Ability one, and he will get the 5% Discipline and States General later on as well. Which is pretty nice because you don't lose the Marathas estate. So he's on a good way to become really strong. Like, I don't know how it's going to work out.
Yes, in fact, I talked about this with Vijayanagar, and he said he's going for a suboptimal build. Because he's dead. Yes. Yes. Unfortunately, his 50% extra available mercenaries won't help him with mercenary bows, because those don't exist. Yes, that is correct. And if you look at the culture map mode, I can see that the process of conversion has started.
Yep. I always forget that the tech of Bengal is not B-E-N. Then I always go to Benin. So,
yeah, and most of the other provinces still have separatism, so I wasn't able to start those. But I can start Damin, and I probably should have if I were smart. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's already like a lot of death that's going to be converted. Then you will hit above 100, and I think if you have around
sounds about right.
20, you will be able to culture swap. So it's not that far away.
Yeah, that is correct. I don't need it yet.
And it's not like you need Nepal right now. Like, your hardest enemy is probably Bahmanis. And I think you can work it out. Right now you have an alliance with the Animal Club Ottomans. Like, Ottomans are really, really strong as well, considering Mamluks died. And Timurids are looking okay, but they're still far away.
Sure, let's do that.
So I would say we take a look at China. So we start with your bordering nation of the Animal Club.
Yes, Animal Club sided with the Monkey Land in the Chinese war, and he lost the war. Don't think he lost very much, but he did go bankrupt, so he is a bit behind mana-wise. Yeah, pretty good.
He got an insane heir. Though with 664. That's pretty good. Like, if he gets a good trade, if Dux the Serenade Slayer gets a good trade, I think he will be having a pretty good future. Like, overall, the shock of his shock pipe is not that bad as well. Like, probably one of the better early trades. I would say. Let's take a look.
Yeah, well, the biggest problem for Animal Club is that, just like all of China, he is super weak right now. He has got 23 force limit and 10 income. So...
yeah, like, this is
maybe, but at the moment they're all fairly weak.
Songgong has...
Well, let's take a look at
22 right
Songon
now, and
next then, I
I don't
suppose.
think anyone is even close to 20.
Oh yeah, okay, Songon
Yes, let me take a look at
is stronger than Animal Club, and I think he might be the strongest Chinese nation left right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going for Korea right now,
Yes,
which is
I
pretty good because
I
then
agree.
you can cut off the expansion of Yusugi. And with that, like, Korea is pretty good because you have only one culture there. It's pretty good land overall. I think you can, if you get consolidates this land and then later on the Manchu steps, you can just slowly conquer the rest of China. Because
I have been told that they, the four of them, have long history of being allied to each other in the past, except Mao. So I'm uncertain as to how likely that is, especially when Songgong has all of Manchuria and Mongolia to expand into.
Like, if we take a look at Mao, we can see that like none
Well,
of the
half of them
empires
bankrupted
I've ever
after
seen
fighting Monkey Land.
pretty interesting. Yeah, which is like really sad. I think if Monkey Man would have continued to play, I think he would have won the war. He was winning the war really hard, and he had so much morale difference. I think he had nearly 2 points of morale difference.
The thing about Mao is we can almost write it off as dead at this point. If you look at it, 63.6% towards enforcing demands for the separatists, they occupy 7 out of 20 provinces. And Mao has 2,000 troops to deal with them. And I do think that Mao could defeat the I separatists fairly easily, of course, but once the 10 stack of the Shun separatists comes back, he might have a bit of an issue.
Shun. And like, of course it can work, but I simply don't think it would be alright. Like, I think it's a big mistake a lot of players are doing with Confucianism, is Confucian, is that they go down with harmony so much. Like, right now he will have 30 more years of harmonizing Shinto, and he's already at 5 harmony.
Yes,
so
I do think that Confucian is still not as good, even after harmonizing with all the relevant religions, as just some other religions would be.
Yeah, I think.
Well, Theravada is worse in my opinion.
Major religions in the game by far.
At least Theravada can rely on having 2.5% discipline, which I suppose Confucian has 7.5% infantry combat ability, but yeah, okay, not much difference there.
Yeah, I think overall it's way worse. Like, if you are considering religions right now in the split up China, we have Shinto, which is far better than Confucianism, and Hindu, which is far better
and I think that if I were him, I'd probably just go Vajrayana right now, since it's easier than going one of the other religions. And Vajrayana is a pretty good religion. It's got 5% morale with at least 2.5% more discipline from karma.
Yeah, I think overall, if he would have done a better play, stylistic-wise, I would have said he could have asked another player for...
yes, absolutely.
So he could get force converted. That could have been an idea. Or otherwise, like, as you said, convert to Vajrayana. Because I think if he would have converted to Shinto, he would have been way stronger right now.
Shinto, the thing about that is he would have to convert a lot of land. Whereas with Vajrayana, he'd only have to convert his 5 or 6 Confucian provinces. which does make a difference at this point.
Yeah. Yes, that's completely correct.
Mhm.
I would say we take a look at Utomate next. Tech 12.
Mhm.
Yeah, like none of the Chinese
Yes.
nation has any build up there behind the tech because of this war. Which is really
Yes.
sad because I think the Chinese
Yes,
nations
I
are really
agree.
strong
They are,
ideas-wise. Like I think the ideas were
well,
pretty
maybe not on the same
overdone.
par as, say, Russia or Spain or Nepal, but I definitely see them competing with, like, something less good like Rome or Poland.
Yeah, because for
Mhm.
example, we take a look at
Well,
Utomate
it's
ideas. It has
manpower
20%
recovery, which
manpower
is actually
recovery speed, which is
pretty damn good
alright.
because it's
Monthly
multiplicative
war
with all the other
execution.
manpower sources.
Yeah,
Yes.
it will scale better once you have the 15% national manpower
Morale
modifier
and
on
fight,
everyone who gets
yes.
finisher.
And some shock damage as
Yeah,
well.
15% morale,
Yeah.
5%
You know what, I
discipline.
think I changed my mind
Like
here. I think Utomite ideas can
from
compare with like
earlier.
Russia. Hmm.
Yeah, I think the ideas are only lacking force limit. That's pretty much it. Otherwise,
Yes.
they are already one of the better ideas, like better than the old Spanish ones. Then you have trade
Yes. Well,
efficiency
another
as
thing you have
well.
to
It's
consider
not like
is
trade
that
efficiency is a
force
useless
limit,
modifier. It's a pretty
it's
good
not
one.
as useful for a nation that has a lot of manpower, because uh, Utomite will be slightly less reliant on mercenaries than the average nation.
Yeah.
Therefore, Utomite's force limit is slightly less relevant. So I don't think Utomite needs force limit that much.
Yes. So
Yes.
yeah, I fully agree, and I think it would put them over the top as well. So take a look at ping pong.
Yeah.
I think the Chinese names are pretty interesting at all.
Hmm.
They're 336. Oh
Yeah.
man, the tech is even worse than England was last session. Yeah, like these ideas are not that as strong. It's our artillery focused ones. 15% artillery damage from back row, 10% artillery combat fire
Yeah.
damage received, 2 land leader maneuver, which is pretty okay actually. And death cross. I think the 2 leader maneuver would be really broken with the old
Yeah.
pipe system.
But now it's
Where
just
the pipes above
you're,
6 would
you're
get
just
adjusted
being
to
as
the
fast
other
as a ping
ones.
pong ball, pretty much.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Force limit average, income average.
this nation has nothing
I
to
have no
show
idea
it.
how he's still on admin tech 3. Like, I feel behind as
Yeah,
Bengal, and
me
I'm on
neither.
tech 5, so like, I have no idea how
Not
this
even on free step.
being this bad is even possible. I suppose being a theocracy doesn't help with that, but yeah. Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, I would say we go to Usugi next to look at Usugi.
Yes, and
I think Usugi
this
is
has
one
been a
of the
point of
best
contention between
ideas
me and a few
in the
others
pioneer
before.
set for
I do
multiplayer.
believe that Uesugi ideas are the best in all of Japan. Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yes.
would wholeheartedly agree, and I think Usugi is the best nation in China, in Japan as
Oh
well.
yes, absolutely.
Overall, because you get, I think it's really underrated the yearly tradition decay. This is straight up retarded at one point in the game. Like once you get the
Mhm.
above 50 and like go to 100, it's way better than +1 army tradition. And what do you see? Oh, the second
Yeah.
idea is plus yearly army tradition, and then you have morale and discipline as well. And I think the combination is way too good. You get infantry combat ability as well, and then if you stay as an
It's
independent
10%, I
daimyo
believe.
in vanilla, I think you still get 15%.
Okay.
more
Oh
or
yeah,
less, and
well, no, it used to be 5% per tier, but
I
then they
think it's
changed how
5%
governments work.
per tier, if I'm correct. Oh, I still remember the
Yes,
fun
and
with the
about one and
Manchu
a half years
culture,
ago, I did in fact
daimyos. This
play
was
as a Manchu daimyo. I was able to attack a player Brunei into hills against 1 versus 2.5 odds and still win the battle. That's how obscene Manchu daimyos are.
yeah, it's pretty broken.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I think they used to be one of the most broken things in the game. And even in
Mhm.
multiplayer, it's even worse in multiplayer than in single player. Like single
Yes,
player, you're fighting against an AI, and the AI can't really play better. But in
yes.
multiplayer, most nations will take the same builds, and
Oh,
you
it's
cannot beat them.
negligible.
And
Like in that
the
game,
corruption you get
I
from the
might have
players
gotten
are
500,000 troops stack
just
wiped
not
once by Serenade, and it cost me, I believe, 1.5 corruption to train up all my banners back, which was like 300,000 or 400,000. So yes, very strong.
yeah. As we can see,
Yes,
Usugi is nearly finished with uniting Japan. Pretty unlucky that I think he will attack Ashikaga, but Ashikaga will integrate
yes, possibly.
Jamana. So I think that's a timing mistake by Riffy.
Yes,
Because
well, if he
I think
occupies Yamana's
there's
land
like
fast enough, I believe that
20
stops it. I
minute
may be wrong.
integration. Yeah, this stops it, but
Yep.
right now it's the 1st of January and he has only 24 points left. This is 5 months and he needs to occupy 5 provinces. Well, it's ambitious because he cannot really rush there, and I think Ashikaga won't sit around
Well, Ashikaga's
to
army is
try to
smaller.
intercept them.
Yusugi can just
Okay. So I
snipe the
think
Ashikagan army and then go to Yamana. Yes. I
let's
Speaking
take a
of,
look at the tech.
I
He's at
believe that
557.
he should have at least taken religious ideas as a placeholder because of the events.
For the step event. The first step event.
Yeah, well,
Oh
plus one
yeah, that's
stability
the
is
plus one
probably the
step
best
event.
event, but it
This
also
one
has
was
a
taken as a placeholder.
free conversion in a province event. Like, so if you had any non-Shinto land, it would just become Shinto for free. There's also some other good events in that as well. Yeah,
Yeah. I think we should continue with
well,
watching.
let's finish off China
Watching
first and then go to India, I
India.
think.
We haven't
We
done
missed
yet.
Agony.
Oh, we missed one in China. Oh, agony.
Agony actually has ideas.
So agony. Oh, agony
They
actually
don't
has
have
manpower.
stability and
Not
they
the
don't
rare
have
side.
institutions and they don't have Tech 7,
What the
but
hell?
they at least have ideas and manpower. Yes.
Agony. Literally agony, I would say. It's pretty good. The ruler, the republic. So if you wouldn't be on that tech level as a republic, I would actually say you did something wrong.
Yes,
For
they are a
example,
bit behind in
Mao's
ideas,
like
but
one admin behind.
still doing fine compared to the other Chinese. Right. Well,
Yeah, I
their
think
ideas are weak,
overall
but
Agony is
I
very strong
think that
as
they're,
well. Like Agony
other
has
than that, they're fine.
bad income, but they're like they can contest Great
Yeah.
Britain, but then you realize
I
you
will
have
be right back.
the Wool of War, which makes England pretty broken. Otherwise, they have naval. Okay. So, as purple is AFK for a second, I will continue with Vijayanagara. Vijayanagara is played by Darth Darthman and expanded here, as you can see. Conquering more of Indonesia. Pretty good. Like, let's check buildings because he actually has buildings. Some buildings built. He can go for some more temples.
I have returned.
Go for some here as well. Overall, the income is pretty good as well at 43. Welcome back, purple.
Yes, I think Viginger is doing fine. Not as strong as Bakhmanis, but doing fine.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Overall, already 3 ideas into quality.
Yeah.
So I would say they're doing all right.
Yes.
It could be a good.
They got a 1-5 general, which is pretty decent, though
Should have
nowhere
been.
near as good as Bengals.
So
Delhi is
I
dead.
would say we take a look at. I think the Delhi player left that year.
Yes, and the Timurids are not looking well at
So
all.
we take a look at the Timurids.
Uh,
Yeah,
mhm.
like the income is okay-ish at 33. Could be way better. Like I don't know why.
Yes, and I
Arbadil
don't understand that
lined
either.
around
I think the
that
Timurids player should
size.
have prioritized that instead of fighting Delhi. Yeah.
Yeah, Mazandaran is up as well. Like,
Mhm.
the player should have taken the center of trades
Yes.
there because it's not like the Persia node is a bad node. It's one of the better nodes in the game. Pseudo end node at one point. So, and I think Kara isn't a player if I'm correct.
Mhm.
So he could have taken way more. Like he could have taken stuff
Well,
into Shasha as well. I think
I
overall he did.
disagree with
I think
that.
it was correct
He
to
did not have a
go
massive
Delhi
advantage.
because he had a massive
Not
advantage.
well.
But he
He
should have
had
taken
over
the stuff.
Delhi, but not over
I
Delhi
think he
plus
should
people
have
who
taken.
willing to defend Delhi.
If I'm correct, Delhi had no manpower. Yeah, that's why I think he should have declared on Delhi. Maybe looked for a mistake from the Delhi player because most of the players are like, oh, I got attacked, I have to merc up now. And in the meantime,
Possibly.
just clean up Mazandaran and then go back. Because at this point, you simply cannot shoot down the walls because you don't have cannons. So you cannot assault the fort. And he still has the 2 most important border forts. Oh, he lost one of the border forts in Quetta. Like
Well,
if you own Quetta,
I prefer
you know,
Kalat in row,
you're
but
nearly
yes, because
unbeatable
Quetta
from that
is
side.
not blocking the southern path.
Kalat.
Only Kalat does that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, with these provinces you're just always getting a pretty good battle. And I think if you control these, you can pretty much...
I think the Timurids are having more than just a lot of problems right now. He has gone bankrupt in a war that cost him land, and even though he was able to get Punjab, he's not managing his country correctly. Like, you can see that he's paying 15 ducats in interest. He is unable to go to forced limit without forcing himself into bankruptcy. He cannot afford even a single merc at this point. His corruption is rising and he's not paying to root it out. He has somehow lost a core on one of Khorasan's provinces, so he can't even get a free integration anymore. Yes, that too.
He has 1 merchant not used.
At least he can get free war against Afghanistan. But I do still think that declaring war on Delhi was a mistake. Because suppose that even if he did not try to attack the Highlands fort, he called Mewar into this war, and Mewar just fed Delhi war score to the point where with just Mewar occupied plus war goal, it would be enough for a stab hit. And if he had not called Mewar in, then Delhi would be able to just eat Mewar for free.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So, well, Mewar is AI and irrelevant, but
Mewar is bankrupt.
yes. Mewar would be much more relevant as part of Delhi, because I'd actually give the enemy of the Timurids some strength. So yes, overall, I think the Timurids can recover from this fairly easily, assuming that he does not collapse to whichever culture he does not accept, which is Afghan, Baluchi, and Duri.
I still think it's a massive misplay that he did not swap primary culture. I think it's a misplay a lot of Timurid players do, because if you simply
Persian,
swap
but yes.
over to, I think it's
Yes,
Iranian
culture group is
culture.
Iranian, yes.
I think it, yeah, like Persia, like the culture group is Iranian. I think you can. I think Persia. You can do it with Khorasani at the game start, and Persian is of course better once you
Yeah.
get done, because I think that's like 2 or 3 income, literally for free. Because you kind of cannot use like Mongol or Irat. You will never get there
Yes.
on time compared to already owning all of the Iranian culture properly. It's not like the Iranian culture group is a bad one. Like it's pretty big and has a good land. So I think we should take a look at the Ottomans next.
Yes.
Played by Erling.
And major manpower deficit, in fact.
Has no manpower for some reason.
I mean, he could just sack professionalism, but at this point it's probably too early.
I don't expect this.
20.
Yeah, like how much professionalism does he have? Let me check. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. The nation has won the Death War. Hungary will.
Yes.
The stuff in
I believe that was
Serbia
discussed.
will get safe-fixed.
I think Ottomans have way too many forts. Because sure, he has 56 income, but why does he need 14 forts? 15.
1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Corfu, the Corfu
I agree
fort is the Corfu fort is really important. He has a Selanik, Filibe, Üsküp.
Yes,
I don't
definitely.
get why he needs the Selanik fort if he has Üsküp and Filibe. Then he has the Anadolu fort.
Yes, and I would think that probably moving Ankara to somewhere further east would be better. Yes, and once he conquers Marash, he'll definitely want to do that.
Yeah, or Kayseri or something.
Because Marash can block the entire entrance except Trebizond.
Yep.
Yes, this nation definitely has a lot of potential.
This nation can get a lot of
and
improvements. Oh, I have an interesting visual bug. According to my game, the Ottomans have 4 subjects called Chanda.
Well, Ottomans do have 4 subjects, but none of them are Chanda.
Interesting EU4. Well-coded game. Yeah, this is the fun thing, like it's Armenia, Fyodoro, Syria and Ramazan. Yeah, pretty, like the nation is looking pretty good. I think it's one of the stronger nations, but that's the reason why I didn't put it as the strongest nation at the end of the last session, because I think the problem this nation has is this nation beat the Mamelukes player, but it's not like it will just get a full free annex. It still has to beat back the Mamluk AI a bit, and he cannot take that much compared to other regions, because the def in Syria is pretty high, so he can take like 2 states at once, and that's it. And he needs to watch AE a bit in the Middle East, so he does not get... So, welcome back to the podcast, part 2.
Yes.
We were doing the Ottomans, and I think we were nearly finished with the Ottomans.
I mean, I assume Mamluks no longer have a player.
Muscovy, I would say. My Mamluk's player left. So,
well, that's standard Muscovy, to be honest.
28 ducats. What is he? Yeah, I think he could be a bit richer right now. We had some diplomatic warfare already. I think he wanted to talk Sweden into selling him Viber, the pretty much great border fort for Sweden that he wants to keep, and Sweden was close to accepting it when I said no, never do this, because I think Viber.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, because here's the thing, Masu can just establish like a line in Finnmark and Rovaniemi, then occupy all of Finland behind Viborg. So unless there's other forts further north, I don't think Freiburg by itself is good enough.
Yeah, like I think. Yeah. He will get another fort, and I think if he loses Viborg, then he needs to have a way different fort set up. Like I think if he can secure the north,
Yes, I think
with
Rovaniemi
forts,
would be a
then
really good
Viborg
place for a
fort
fort.
becomes way more valuable than.
It's nice defensive terrain, it blocks entrance into Sweden, and it's got the 3-province line with Viborg, where it blocks access into Finland as well.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think Muscovy
Yes.
has right now the manpower problem.
Well, Muscovy is not large enough
Overall,
to,
Poland first,
not developed
right
enough
here,
to
Sweden right
establish
now.
many metropolitans right now. Could actually, that's not true. They could establish like 5, 6. Yeah, Muscovy could actually establish 6 metropolitans. I don't know why he hasn't done that yet. Yeah, that's a lot of patriarch authority. That's a lot of
I think that
manpower.
would be like really good for him.
That's
Like that's
a lot of everything, really.
30%.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's around 10% manpower, which is pretty good. Would give him like 35 per month, so around one full army each 3 year, one full stack each 3 years. He has a pretty good air though, 246, which is pretty good. Like if he switches to admin focus then to finish economic, he will get a pretty insane timing for the policy. But his big problem
yes,
right now
possibly.
is that Poland will attack him pretty soon, I think. Because right now, I don't see
Yes.
Muscovy.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Sweden were to join in as well.
Time for Poland to attack him. Here, Sweden has somewhat consolidated after the horrible session 1. Build back up here. I think Muscovy's here a bit underwhelming. It could be a bit better, but it's not like it's a dead country. It's alright. He can improve a lot. Like his general right now is pretty good at 2-5 with 4 siege.
Yes.
But he's not using it right now for whatever reason. What about the gold mine?
Well, now to think about it, Muscovy would actually stand a pretty good chance against Poland, because Muscovy 4.2 morale, that's nothing to scoff at, and Poland's ideas are backloaded.
Yeah. On the other hand, I need to say that Muscovy's state management is horrible in my eyes, because right now he has Oka and Perm as states with 8 and 5 death, and then he has Astrashkan with 36 death, Bashkir with 32.
Yes, I think if you just grant Ustyu to Perm,
this is a pretty big mistake in my
since it's in Perm state already. Maybe grant Kasimov to Ryazan as well. And then just make Bashgir the state, make Astrahan a state. Maybe even do the same with Kaluga and make Lower Don a state.
They would improve his income by much.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it would improve his income by a fair margin. Probably around 2 or 3 ducats at least, if not way more. It would put him to above 30, pretty alright then.
Yeah.
So, I guess we should take a look at Sweden. So, Sweden still has horrible prestige, but is recovering.
Well, the
income is at 17. It's okay. He will get the nice payment though. I can already spoil that because the Paradox AI is highly competitive. The Hamburg AI decided to DOV me as England.
That's a very interesting punitive war.
He's the only supporter. And now will give me a... and now I will get the pretty free annexal Hamburg. And I will pay Sweden 250 ducats for the aggressive expansion. Which is a pretty good deal in my eyes, because then I can slowly start to farm the lowlands. Because I had a pretty big coalition. and I get the pretty much best province in the Lübeck node for trade.
Yes.
Because it has an estuary and a... I don't know how it's called, center of trade. Yeah. And then Sweden will start to get subsidies, because I already own most of the Danish stuff as England. And he will get the rest of Norway. And then he has to fight other players. I think he can beat Brandenburg right now, because Brandenburg ain't looking that hot right now, and I think this thing would jump on him once he gets an opportunity. And the big advantage of Sweden compared to other nations in that area is that Sweden is a part of the HRE, so he can expand into the HRE without much problems.
Possibly, yes.
I think he should jump Dithmarschen as well. Like, it's a thing I said because I think Dithmarschen was, in my eyes, was a dead nation after session 1 because he was bankrupt as an OPM. But well, he's still alive, and the nation is not that strong. It has like 8k troops, and Swedish armies are already better.
Yeah.
Tech-wise,
Like, well, I think Sweden just looks like a slightly better Chinese nation. It's got good ideas, it's got almost good tech, it's got fairly main income and force limit, but, you know... Well, shall we quickly go through Dithmarschen first? I assume Dithmarschen is not entirely dead yet.
Oh yeah. Yet. Why the hell has Dithmarschen 2 T's in the tech? So Dithmarschen has manpower left, a rare thing in this time. Quality ideas started. Alright, tech-wise, like 557, nothing special.
Yes,
like,
very low force limit though. Has he not... Oof, he's raised autonomy. He's got 95 autonomy in Markstadt, 98 in Honeckerstadt, 59 in Liebnerstadt. Yes.
I like the names of the states though, because this is like communist and the DDR dream, Liebknecht.
Yeah.
Salzburg.
But yes, because of that, Dithmarschen is actually fairly weak. 4 income, 8 force limit.
Yeah.
He has 0 force to defend himself, so that 10k manpower might just never get recruited in the first place.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I said to the Sweden player. I think if Sweden decides to jump Dithmarschen, Dithmarschen is dead, because no one will defend Dithmarschen.
Yes.
I think everyone will rather jump Dithmarschen instead of defending it. Like in my eyes, Brandenburg has no business not expanding into
Well, Brandenburg might be afraid of a Sweden, so Brandenburg might defend.
But Brandenburg is in a horrible spot.
Surprise, surprise.
Anyways, because this thing has massively outgrown him, and Sweden, yeah, who would have expected that? Poland is looking strong as well. Even Friesland is not looking that weak. So I think he's still. I think Brandenburg is still stronger than Friesland, not enough to beat like the bigger nations around him. Same problem. Like Friesland has the same problem as Dithmarschen. It's not big enough. So I take a look at Friesland right now for the podcast. The income is 744. Makes some cash in the English.
Yes, I think Friesland's looking just fine.
Alright on tech, I would say on time.
Yes.
Yeah, but the problem of Friesland is that there is a big neighbor called England. And France. Like, I think overall the England-France alliance is one of the most disgusting things.
Well, I think the England and France is the most disgusting thing in the game.
France alliance in the game.
Because it makes no sense for them to fight each other, which is one of the few instances where this is the case.
Yeah, and the thing is, in this case, I invited Cookie for once.
I thought you invited him just to be his little bitch.
To play the game with me in like alliance. Yeah, like it's the running gag in GG, the server Cookie and I know each other from. That I was the guy trying to kill Cookie and I always got bitch slapped. Hello, Dave.
Really?
Yeah, I consider Cookie a far better player than this thing does well. Like he pretty much won.
Well, to be fair, that he is France, so.
And he's really knowledgeable. Yeah, and considering he is another pretty strong nation right now, he's doing alright. And he always has a disgusting luck with rulers.
Yes, I wish I could have that kind of luck. I mean, my friends had like a ruler average of 7 or something.
Oh yeah, this was nearly early game Venice level of rulers. Well, at least I recovered later on.
Alright, so who should we look at next?
I will take a small look at Bohemia. Bohemia, I would say Bohemia, Poland, and then Hungary, Austria, France.
Distinct is trying to take on 6A at once. Well, good luck to him. AI is his worst enemy. He doesn't even have Tech 7 yet.
If I ever
Curious choice.
Seems like he's he's way above force limit.
Yes, but he had a good ruler forever.
He already finished quality.
665 strict bolt fighter.
Yeah, he's still.
Yeah, George of Polybrod.
Oh, like this ruler is disgusting. Like this is one of the best. Yeah, this is one of the best combinations you could have at that point in the game.
Yep.
In multiplayer, they're pretty disgusting. Already switched to admin focus, so you can. I think Bohemia will pretty much annihilate Austria in this unit.
Oh yeah, well, Austria still got 3 votes going for it, so it's gonna hold on to the emperorship for a bit.
The nation is already in a good spot. Like who are the electors? Like Bohemia can switch. I think Brandenburg can switch as well. Cologne is allied. Oh, right now Sweden actually has 2 votes. That's kind of funny. Because I think the big problem is that this thing is going to get the electors vassalized if he is doing that alright. So
well, I don't think this thing is going to be ready for war for another session at least. What is this? What is this distinct?
12, 10 and 1. Oh, distinct. Oh, the manpower death going down the drain. I think.
Why is the gold mine 10-8-2 while neighboring province is 7-10-3? What is going on?
Horrible. Yeah, I said that to distinct as well.
He's got 114 base tax, 102 base production, and 50 base manpower. What is this? Yeah,
this is probably one of the worst manpower.
20%.
I have seen in a long time.
He's about to have his prosperity destroyed by AI, I think. So yeah, if that happens, rip his income.
Here, I think overall, his nation is looking okay, but the big problem is right now that I think he deft highly inefficient. Like not mana wise, but 10-8-2.
Where did he even get enough admin?
10-1.
Where did he get enough admin to dev like that? Shouldn't he be taking it? I guess he just got admin 7.
Yeah, I don't know what he did. Like I think considering his neighbors and considering their weak early game Serenade had, he could have even went for the full greed build with like
Yeah,
Overthrow,
that's...
but that would not be like it would not be distinct like. That's like the high greed build. That's ridiculous
Yes.
greedy, but considering how much admin he has left, it it probably would have been an option, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the nations, on the other hand, tech-wise, it's looking really good. 777 or 776, but he can take 7. So let's take a look at Austria. Play back quickly. Yeah, income on pretty much the same level as distinct. Really reliant on Tyrol. Yeah, once he gets like he can get all of the south right now from the HRE, and he will take Salzburg as well, so we get a fair chunk of development right now. This is pretty good too. We'll get like 50 development for free right now. Pretty good pickup. Here, I would say it's a proper nation. Like he has 54 limit thanks to the emperorship. 51.
He's actually got he's got a decent tech and ideas, so that's...
He can take down this. Air 677.
He is a...
quality. And I think he can pretty easily annex the rest.
He is a bit behind in admin though.
But Florence has already sniped a lot.
Yes.
Here, but that's because of the bad rulers he has compared to
Yes.
this thing, for example, like he starts with a 251 and now he has a 332. Philip von Habsburg is a 244, so no improvement on the line. Yeah, I think Hungary, like this is pretty much it for Austria.
Poland,
so
I suppose.
Hurry up a bit with the rest, because I don't think there's a lot to say. Yeah, take Poland next. Played by Serenade. If his PC is correct, connecting to the game for once. 645 air. Ooh, but age-wise, it's pretty close.
Yes.
Like when he can abdicate. Oh, a 156 with it.
A bit weaker than Austria, maybe on same level as Bohemia right now, but he does have manpower.
Income 29.
Yes, that is true.
Don't forget Lithuania.
With Lithuania, he's much stronger, I think.
PU.
Yeah.
So he has Danzig and Livonia as well.
Yeah, probably before his last jousting tournament expires.
If I were him, I would attack Muscovy at the moment.
Which is insane. Oh, he still has lots of time.
Yeah, like right now, 16 years. I would go right now. Right now. He has 6 years for good discipline, 16 for the last jousting tournament. And he's nearly at the maximum of his manpower. Like he could go to his force limit and just run into Muscovy. And
yes, but here's the question though. Does he want to do that before he gets Tech 8? Because Tech 8 is regimental camps. And if an opponent of Muscovy's power would probably force a bankruptcy. And if you're bankrupting, then you might as well grab all the regimental camps you can. I suppose he could spend the money on barracks instead, but he doesn't have any that are particularly good.
Yeah, I think the big problem right now is the timing. Like if he takes Tech 7, he can take Tech 8 around 1488, so 1490. He will take it if he's properly efficient and takes a general or two. And yeah, that's like 10 years. I think the war will not go that long. So
well,
try to start the war.
Selling it in 5 or 6 would waste a lot of money on interest though. Because then he'd have to wait 5 years after the war to wait at the buildings.
Let's look at the barracks. Like you can,
I see 3 good ones.
I think it would be alright. Yeah, that's the only bad thing. Like, it's a big investment in the future because right now there are a lot of bad ones
Yep.
because the manpower dev at the start in Poland is pretty bad. A lot of ones and some twos. Yeah, but I think Poland overall is in a good spot. Like, it's not a bad nation already.
Well, it's Diplo.
7
As long as you
and
have 9.
a bit behind in Diplo, but that's pretty much it. A player I disagree with, a player I disagree a lot with actually, is that Poland players do not convert to Ruthenian at game start. I disagree a lot with that because even though it's a bit late, considering he got Lithuania, you get simply from Ruthenia later. Oh no, it's actually not in Poland
Well,
anymore.
if
But
he
it's
forms
still
Ruthenia, then he
worth
doesn't get Lithuania for free.
worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they fixed it. I forgot that Commonwealth is an endgame tag.
Yeah.
But you can still get the Russian Principality.
Yes.
And the Russian culture group is way better than the Polish one. Like, considering every other culture
Yep.
is extinct.
And
Culture group
honestly, I expect this... well, now that you mention it, there is no more other cultures. That's what distincts all his Diplo on.
Yeah, I think... yeah, and I think... Like, this is the thing, I think if Poland
possibly.
attacks Muscovy, I think Distinct will attack Poland. Because I don't think anyone but Hungary is going to defend him. And if Hungary joins there, Ottomans jump on him. And, yeah. So, let's take a look at Hungary. Good manpower, we get some of his land.
Yeah.
But I think the nation has no shot at fighting back.
Yeah, definitely.
Without the help.
It's early game and Ottomans are quite strong. Yes.
Yeah, I think he has no shot at winning the war. Zero shot. Like, even if Austria and Bohemia defend him, I think it will be hard. He would need all 3 of them, and I don't think all 3 of them will defend him because someone will jump on someone. Yeah, that's pretty much the state of Hungary. He has a lot of points banked up though, so he can nearly go to Tech 5 admin buys instantly. Okay, small look at Florence, played by Inquisitor. It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty rich as well. 28 income.
Not much manpower, not much force limit.
Still a bit dumb that he plays. Why the hell is he subsidizing? Yeah, why is he subsidizing Hungary? This does not make any sense for me. I think right now in the war with Parma, he can... yeah, I think Italy is pretty much his oyster right now. And he can, like, freely take everything he wants. If he does not get into a direct conflict with Austria, no one can really fight back. And is interested in expanding into it right now. Naples is already his vassal. Yeah, he did religious ideas for the event. That's a good pickup. Idea set is also pretty good.
Yep.
I really like the Tuscany's ideas. So I think that's pretty much it for Florence. So we take a look at France. Yeah, France has 44 income right now.
Well,
you
say that it's pretty low, but I see one of the most powerful
right
nations in the game.
Limit of 51. Like, he can increase his income. Yeah, that's like his only weakness, I would say, right now. His income is not that high.
He's making almost no money from trade, though.
But not, like, astronomically high.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't put his second merchant in Bordeaux.
Yeah, that will change it as soon as
to collect.
Yeah, I think that's a misplay. I think Swapping the Genoa merchant to Bordeaux would be the way better play.
Maybe not even Bordeaux. Maybe maybe
but
maybe not
I'm
even Genoa.
correct.
Maybe just Champagne.
Yeah, I'm correct on that one. He's sending all history. Yeah, or he could just send all history to the English channel and let a wholesome nation send him some subsidies. Yeah,
Probably.
should,
Although,
go
for an understand, he was declared the coalition war on by Burgundy, or something.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened there then? Ah.
No. That was me. That was me. He got a smaller coalition one. Like he has
Yes.
Catalonia as a vassal. He will eat some stuff, and I have a deal with him, but I'm not going to disclose the full deal yet because another player will get a dagger stabbed into his chest. So small look at Morocco. France is alright tech-wise, 656 for having a bankruptcy already. And he went defensive ideas because he has a massive boner for defensive ideas. Morocco is at 436, already 2 ideas into quality, 567 tech-wise. He can go a bit ahead. I think he's allied to Songhai. Yeah, he's allied to Songhai. If I would be him, I would actually kill Songhai.
I think Morocco's plan was to form Andalusia, but...
He will form, it's the deal, he will get to form Andalusia. And then die. Oh well, did I just spoil the results? Yeah. He will form Andalusia, get the 15% morale, and then... I don't know what he will do, like his income is at 31, it's pretty decent, but it's mostly Tafilalt right now. Once he states lower Andalusia, he's going to get a lot more income. Yeah, otherwise the nation is looking alright. He's building barracks for some reason. His navy is fairly weak. I would recommend him having a higher nation. He's privateering Sevilla. Yeah, the nation is looking like alright. I think he could expand a bit more into like Tunis. And maybe take down Timbuktu and get the Western Sahara state. That would be my approach. Here, I won't take a look at Songhai because the nation is... like he's expanding right now, had a lot of bad luck regarding regencies, as I heard. 21 income, 26 of 27 force limit, all looking alright.
Yes, before France and England come knocking for the
next session.
Ivory Coast, I suppose.
Perhaps.
Yep.
Yeah. So we finish up with England.
Yep, I'm looking at like England can barely afford its army. Actually, not even. England's losing a lot of money.
Yeah, but that's because of the way too big navy right now. He's losing 4 ducats for a way too big navy because he's getting transport ships and he cannot delete them fast enough for some reason. Otherwise, tech-wise, he caught up a bit, considering he was at 343.
Still not innovative as England, though.
Now and can take attack everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I had the 000 ruler for the last, for the first 30 years, 20 years, which was...
well, at least it's not Diplofocus, as the last England did.
Because I was so sleepy at that day. Yeah, we all love Zaid for having Diplofocus 3 sessions straight. The ruler is pretty good, 454, with strict and architectural visionary. We are catching up on tech.
Should probably think about
just,
disinheriting his heir,
fighting it
maybe
for
is
England because
scornfully
I can
insulting a
see
rival.
no one will contest him. Here I will do this. This is actually the thing that is on my checklist right now because I had 50 until the last year. As you can see, I lost 5 points of power projection in the last year. And once I finish this war,
Yep.
we will start the proc War of the Roses. And afterwards I can just catch up again. Right now it's just looking to get the Holland state. Once I have the Holland state,